What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another technology tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how to run the latest version of Ubuntu Linux inside VirtualBox. So it's actually very easy to do on your PC or your Mac to run Linux, Ubuntu, as a guest operating system inside of your host operating system. So it's very easy to do, and I'm going to show you the exact steps. So the first step is to go to your web browser, and then the first step is installing VirtualBox, downloading and installing VirtualBox. So go to this link in the description, VirtualBox, and it'll take you to this website. Go ahead and click download VirtualBox 6.0, and then whether you're on Windows or Mac, I'm on Windows, so I'm going to click Windows Hosts, and then it's going to download it. But I'm going to cancel it because I already have it installed. But go ahead, download it, and then run it. Just click on it, and then run the setup wizard, which will install it. And then after you have that downloaded and installed, it's time to download the disk image file for Ubuntu Linux 18. So then you want to go to ubuntu.com. There will be a link in the description, of course, where you can go, and that'll take you to this website. You want to go ahead and click, go to this arrow, click download, and you see right here we have the option to download Ubuntu Desktop. And then you want to go ahead and click 18.04 LTS, and then you can see here we are, and it's going to start the download in a second. So now it's 1.9 gigabytes, and depending on the speed of your internet, it might take a long time to download, but you can see here it is right here. It's going to download that, but I'm going to cancel it because I already have it downloaded, and it was going to take a long time since my internet is not working well at all today. But yep, so go ahead, download and install VirtualBox, and then go ahead and download the disk image file for Ubuntu. So now we're done in the web browser. Now it's time to go to your Oracle VirtualBox. So go ahead and open that up, and it's time to create a new virtual machine. This virtual machine is going to be for Linux. So go ahead and click the new button, and then go ahead and name it you can name it whatever you want. I'm naming mine Ubuntu Linux 18.04, and then make sure that type is Linux, and make sure that version is Ubuntu 64-bit. That is very important. So now click next, and now we have to set how much RAM we want to allocate to Ubuntu Linux. It's set at 1 gigabyte, but I want it to run well, so I'm going to give it 4 gigs of RAM. So I'm going to type 496 in megabytes, or you can drag that slider. Although I have noticed that with some virtual machines, if you give it not an exact to the gigabyte, it might run into an error. So I'm giving it exactly 4 gigs of RAM. So go ahead and click next, and now you need to choose the hard drive space that you want, and then the recommended is 10 gigabytes, but you can change that. So go ahead and click create. Now it's going to ask for a hard disk file type. Make sure it's set at VDI, VirtualBox disk image, then click next. Then it's going to ask storage on physical hard disk. Make sure it's at dynamically allocated. Click next, and now we can choose how much of the hard drive space we want to allow Ubuntu Linux. I'm only going to give it a 10 gigabyte hard drive, but depending on how much you're going to use it for, you might want more storage. And do keep in mind that the actual installation of Linux is going to take up a decent amount of that, but 10 gigs is enough for me. So then go ahead and click create. So now you've created your virtual machine, and then go ahead and double click on the virtual machine itself, or click the start arrow, and it's going to open up this page, and now you need to select the ISO file, the disk image file that you downloaded for Ubuntu. So go ahead and click this folder icon, and then you need to go ahead onto your computer and find where you have the ISO file stored. I have mine stored in documents with my folder of all my ISOs. So here's my Ubuntu Linux ISO. So go ahead and click open, and go ahead and click start, and now it's going to begin the installation for Ubuntu Linux. It's very simple. I'm going to go view, and I'm going to change it to full screen mode so that you can see it better. Now you see this flashing white underscore. Don't worry, you don't have to run any commands to install the operating system whatsoever. It's actually going to do most of it itself, but you can see here it's going to start booting into the installation wizard. Computer is, but here it has booted into the installation wizard. Now here you can go ahead and select your language. I'm going to stick with English. Now you can try Ubuntu, but that's if you are installing it on an actual computer. We're just installing it in a virtual machine. So you want to go ahead and click install Ubuntu here, and then it's going to load up a little bit. And now at this page, make sure that your keyboard layout is set to whatever keyboard you use. So mine's English US. And then go ahead and click continue. It's going to load a little more. And now it's going to ask you what you want to install. So if you do normal installation, it installs basically everything like the web browser, utilities, and all the basic software. You could click minimal installation where it would only give you the web browser and basic utilities, but I just like the normal installation. So go ahead and configure your options that you want and go ahead and click continue. And since this is a virtual machine, the hard drive is already blank, so make sure it just stays at erase disk and install Ubuntu, and then click install now. So it's gonna ask you if you're sure, like if you're actually willing to delete everything on the hard drive, but we've only made a 10 gigabyte hard drive that's already free. So just go ahead and click continue, and now it is going to ask for your location. Okay, after that, it is going to ask you to create your Linux account. So I'm going to type in my name, the name I want of my computer, my username, and my password. And then after that, you can choose whether you want to log in automatically or if you actually have to put in your password. And I want to have to put in my password to log in. So then after that, you can click continue, and now that it has your keyboard, your language, your time zone, it can actually begin installing Ubuntu Linux. So you can see here it says copying files, and I don't really know why there's a grayed out skip button since there's nothing to skip. It's installing Ubuntu Linux. And so it might take a little while. I think for me it took about 15 minutes. Maybe a little longer. It depends on how good your computer is. But what's cool, I kind of wish Windows would do this, and Mac maybe, but with Linux, it has a bunch of tips. It's like a loading screen in a video game. You can scroll through all these tips on how to use the operating system. And there's like 10 or so tips that I could find when I would scroll through these, and Linux is actually pretty user-friendly. A lot of people think that you have to be some sort of computer genius in order to use it. Most true that a lot of computer experts do use Linux. You don't need to be that good at it. If you can use Windows, then Linux shouldn't be too hard for you to learn, and you can always look up tutorials. So go ahead, you can look at the tips while it installs the operating system. And it might take a little while, but all we have to do is wait. Okay, so after a few minutes, you'll get a notification that says the installation is complete and you need to restart your computer. So go ahead and click on Restart Now. And I actually noticed that whenever you install it, it says please remove the installation medium, then press enter, which is obviously an error since we don't have any installation media. But I found a fix. All you have to do is just press enter, and then it's gonna like try to restart it, and then everything's gonna work. Okay, so the installation is complete. Go ahead and click on your account and put in your password, and go ahead and click sign in, and Ubuntu has been completely installed. You should find that with VirtualBox drivers, everything, like your hardware should work, and here we are. It's really that easy to install it. You can see here we are at the desktop. You can see things work, and you get this what's new in Ubuntu thing. So that's basically it. And you can see successfully installed. We have all of our apps here on the side, or you can click this button to show more apps. The first thing I usually do is go into settings and change my screen resolution, because you can see I have my entire computer screen here, but for some reason it doesn't want to take it up. So yeah guys, that is how to create a Linux virtual machine of Ubuntu and run it on your Mac or PC. And I hope that was helpful for you guys, and I'll see you next time.